Deputation by appointment, and I would call Michael Bell, Director of Orange Studios, to the table, who's going to address us regarding public excluded item 20, the Performing Arts Precinct. Michael, thanks very much indeed for joining us. You have 10 minutes to make your deputation to Council this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor, Councillors. Thank you for seeing me today. Thank you for people that have come in support. I'm here in capacity as leader of Andromeda, the proposed alternative / business case for the multi-purpose theatre, which the council has drafted to put into the Performing Arts Precinct. I agree that this is an excellent thing to put into the precinct, and it's got a lot of use. It's got a lot of reasons to be in there. Now, in recent times, it's become clear that the Court Theatre are proposing that this multi-purpose theatre gets deleted from the precinct, and with the funding, with all of the available funding going to them. To me, I don't think this is a good idea. I think this this increases the amount of monopoly that one particular theatre company has in Christchurch. I don't think that's good for Christchurch's art scene. I don't think it's good for Christchurch as a whole. And I've got a it's up to you to judge, but here are 20 reasons why. Once they are, so it'll be on the screen soon, I'm sure. So some of the questions that I'd like to address today, is Andromeda / the multi-purpose theatre just a cheaper option without any economic or artistic benefits, and is the multi-purpose theatre worth removing from the Performing Arts Precinct in favour of all the available funding going to just one entity? So I guess one of the easiest things we can talk about first is how much is it going to cost. The court will cost $40-something million to get up off the ground. Andromeda is going to cost half of that, / the multi-purpose theatre. And one important thing of this is one important thing about this is that it means you can actually afford to do it now. So so give it the green light. We'll be up off the ground, getting really exciting things happening in the Performing Arts Precinct, creating a really great corridor from the from Cathedral Square through to the Margaret Mayhew Playground. But the fact that you can actually afford it doesn't have to be the only reason that you should do it. The Court Theatre is asking you for $1 million a year after they're built of ratepayer money to help subsidise their increased costs of being in there. Andromeda has a more sustainable plan which does not ask the council for that. If you would like to give us the income from the car park, then we would gratefully accept it, and we can do some great things for Christchurch with that money. But we're not asking for that annual public money. Skipping to that bottom purple box there, if you want to create new economy for Christchurch, Andromeda is your only option here. It's going to put $20 million of new economy into Christchurch. Half of that's going to be coming from out of town, new money injected into Christchurch. It's new activity happening in Christchurch, not just moving some activity from one place to another. If you move the Court Theatre from Addington into the CBD, those jobs will go with it, and I'm sure there will be probably a few new jobs created. But if you build Andromeda first, you'll create 70 jobs straight off the bat, and that's direct employment within the theatre, not even including the new theatre companies that will be moving into it, employment there, and the new employment it will create in the tourism industry and the surrounding area. One really important thing that you're going to want to consider is how it activates the CBD and the Performing Arts Precinct. So put the Court Theatre in there, and you are guaranteed to get an influx of people at 7 PM when they arrive to go to the theatre. You'll also get a few people turning up early at 6 o'clock for dinner, and then at 10 o'clock you'll get another outflux of people as the court's predominant demographic leave the theatre and go home to bed. If you put Andromeda in there, we 24/7, well, 18 hours a day activation is part of the core of its business plan. It's built entirely around this, both inside the facility and surrounding the facility. So from 6 o'clock until midnight, we're going to be activating the precinct with locals, with conference delegates, with business meetings, with theatre goers in the evenings, and in the evening, and later in the evenings, even weekday evenings, tourists who aren't ready to go home yet. So this really is a true option for activation of the precinct. I've noticed in recent times the court have started using buzzwords like all-day activation and benefits to the dance and community theatre and music communities and tourism benefits, but it would appear on the surface that they're copying their text from Andromeda's website, and I would definitely encourage critical thinking of how they would achieve the same thing. In terms of benefits to the arts community, $45 million will buy you 2 performance stages at the Court Theatre for exclusive use by one theatre company. $22 million will buy you 4 performance stages and a co-working space and a tenancy space for 12 of Christchurch's other professional theatre companies who have got a lot of diverse voices and a lot of world-class theatre to give you, and we really do have good track records in Christchurch, around New Zealand and around the world. Furthermore, you'll be creating a performance space for lots of community theatre companies that are in desperate need of it, lots of dance companies that are in desperate need of it. The Court Theatre have been calling this a theatre for hire. That's not the case at all. It's a joint venture model. It's a newer model that's getting really popular around the world. It works a lot better in Auckland and Wellington. They've got that, and they've got really great, diverse performing arts scenes that are world class. And we can't say the same at the moment about Christchurch. But build this theatre, and we will be able to say the same thing about Christchurch. In terms of benefits to the public, build Andromeda and you're going to be getting 400 music performances every year. So this is both on the big main stage and also in its jazz comedy bar, which opens out onto the courtyard. So the vast majority of these will be visible from the square. So locals and visitors walking through will really get the benefit of this activation. But it's not just music, it's theatre. Court Theatre, you'll put the Court Theatre in there first, you'll get yourself 550 shows moved from one place to another. Build Andromeda in there, and you're going to get yourself 1,000 performances at a very conservative estimate. Feel free to ask me why later if you're wondering how that's possible. Also, Andromeda is your only option to create a really good, meaningful hub for Christchurch's existing and future festivals. So we're talking World Buskers Festival, Christchurch Arts Festival, Jazz and Blues Festival, Big Band Festival, and other festivals as well. It'll create a excellent, much-needed hub to help these festivals do really, really well, and in close vicinity to other theatres. Furthermore, it will lay the groundwork for new festivals to happen, and I'd love to talk about the possibilities of new festivals and why they'd be great for Christchurch. But if you'd like to ask questions about that later, feel free. Andromeda is your only option for adding meaningful new activity to Christchurch's arts scene. It's your option for helping Christchurch's arts scene to become more diverse, more active, and more respected by other cities. And I'd like to add more equitable. So you look at other cities, even in New Zealand, Wellington, Auckland. There's a diverse range of theatre companies doing a really a big range of theatre. You know, you can go to lots of different places. There will be theatre all the time. We can have that in Christchurch as well, but we need an equitable art scene where the funding is split better between awesome arts groups. The Court Theatre certainly does have a good track record. They do excellent shows, and I have a lot of respect for the court. I worked there for 11 years as a court jester, and I really look forward to being neighbours with them in the Performing Arts Precinct. Andromeda also has a lot of reasons that this is not a big risk for the council. So the people behind it and in it have a really good track record of business and theatre in Christchurch, New Zealand and overseas. Andromeda also has a very viable business plan, so it's years in the making, it's thoroughly researched, it has professional market research, it's costed up professionally, it's well consulted on, it's very viable and it works, and you're welcome to ask any questions about it. But not only does it work for Christchurch and as itself, but it has so far 31 letters of support and counting. They're coming in all the time. So there is a real need and want from the Christchurch arts community to get this up and running, and I think it is definitely worth your consideration to look properly into this. So what I ask of you is that you instruct the Performing Arts Precinct Steering Group to engage formally with Andromeda, negotiating and evaluating a deal that can be brought back forward to you as a tangible option for getting the Performing Arts Precinct up and running sooner rather than later. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, and that brings us almost exactly to the end of the 10 minutes allotted for the deputation, but thanks very much for a very interesting presentation this morning. Thank you very much indeed.
All right, thank you.